We give Jesus kind of a pass on weird statements. Let me explain what I mean, okay? Jesus says weird things sometimes. He really does. I mean, if anybody else said that, it would be really weird, right? But because it's Jesus, we kind of put him in the category of like, I don't know. He speaks in parables. He says weird things. I don't always understand it, but it's Jesus. What do you expect, I mean, I was a teacher once, so I was a rabbi, if you want to use that. Jesus was a rabbi. If I went to my students, when they were my students in high school, and they were, I was teaching them, and I said, hey, students, there's Tyler. I see Tyler. Hey, Tyler. Tyler, come to me. You're weary, you're tired. I'll give you rest. I mean, that would be weird, right? What are you talking about, Brad? Come to you, you're going to give me rest. What are you talking about? Like, that is strange to say. As a rabbi, as a teacher to students, I mean, that's Jesus's, relationship. That's weird. But it's not, because of who Jesus is. Who is Jesus? He's Yahweh with skin on. He's God. I'm going to explain this in a second. But the words that Jesus is saying, they actually are echoes of the Garden of Eden. And when Jesus says, hey, come to me, I'm going to give you rest, that isn't the rabbi, the prophet, the miracle worker. That's the God we've been running from. Looking at you saying, you're so tired. You're so worn out. You need me. Do you guys remember the garden story? You guys remember Genesis, right? Think about Genesis for a second, right? God makes humans in his image, male and female, man and wife. We have this beautiful, perfect relationship with each other. We have this beautiful, perfect relationship with God in this beautiful, perfect garden. That's how it starts. And he says, I've got an adventure for you. Sometimes we don't read it this way, but this is how it should be read. I have got an adventure for you. You guys, you two, are going to take what you see in this garden, and you're going to take the entire earth, all the wild lands out there, and you're going to bring the entire earth underneath the wise rule of my glory as you work on my behalf. I'm going to appoint you rulers over this earth, and you're going to work with me together, you and me. I as your creator, you as my emissaries. You're going to take the wise rule of Yahweh and bring all that chaos under control, because that's exactly what God did in the garden. He took this area of chaos and he spoke order into that chaos. And so humans were designed with the presence of God, reflecting his glory, one hand in heaven, guys, and one hand on earth in this beautiful, like, emissary, this intermediator. And we're like, hey, God, your glory, your wisdom, give me that wisdom, give me that wise glory that I need to bring that all throughout the creation. And we were to do that in beautiful fellowship with God. That's how we were made. And then what happened? Right? Outside of the garden, in the wildlands, comes this slithering snake to come into the garden and to say, did God really say? Did he really say you can't eat from the trees here? No, he didn't say that. He said there was only one tree we couldn't eat from. And that if we did, we would die. Oh, God's just holding out on you. He doesn't want you to know all the things he knows. And so Satan tempts Adam and Eve. And what happens as soon as they eat from the tree that was forbidden, right? They instantly experience for the first time shame. And look at this. I got this for us here. What do I do with my clicker? It's in my pocket. Look at this. In verse 8. So then they hear the sound of the Lord walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And what does the man and his wife do? Read it for me. They hid themselves from the presence of the Lord. They hid themselves. See, we were supposed to enjoy unbroken fellowship with our Creator in his presence. It was never supposed to be scary. The presence of God was never supposed to be scary. It was never supposed to be frightening. It was supposed to be the thing we feed on. It was supposed to be the things we just enjoy. And now because of sin, because of rebellion, now that presence becomes fearful. C.S. Lewis put it this way: God becomes the thing we most want and the thing we most hide from. And so for the rest of creation, the rest of the human story is the sad, broken-hearted story of God's creation in rebellion against him. humans running from God, God pursuing us and trying to restore that broken relationship, that presence that we were supposed to enjoy, that we weren't supposed to be afraid of. In fact, psychologists will tell us, this is so fascinating, that one of the things that humans need in order to flourish is secure attachment. That is so woven into our psyches that if we don't have secure attachment, as children with parents, as husbands and wives, I would say with us and our Creator, without that secure attachment, we don't do well. And that is exactly what's happened in this creation story. Humans have lost their secure attachment. God is scary now, and we're running. So what does Jesus say? That's why I want us now to look at what Jesus says through this story, this whole picture, because when we look at that in Matthew 11, that's like 2/3 of the way through the story. So Jesus isn't just saying out of thin air, come to me. He's saying what God the Father is saying in Jesus the Son. He's saying to all of us, hey, stop running, man. Like, I'm the thing you want. I'm going to give you rest. Look what else Jesus says. Look at John chapter 6. So all of these need to just take on some profound new meaning for us. I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry again. Whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. He isn't talking about food and drink here, right? We know that. He's saying, look, you are running. You are searching. You are hungry. You are thirsty. And you are looking in all the wrong places. The thing you actually want, but might not be able to put your finger on is me. I am the bread of life. I am what you're looking for. All the things that get us caught up into addictions and get us caught up on the treadmill of life that runs fast and doesn't go anywhere. We all know that story. If I just do this, if I just accomplish that, if I just make this promotion, all those things, Jesus is saying, stop. You're wearing yourself out, right? Look at this next one, John 10. The thief's purpose, this is a reference to Satan, is to steal and to kill and to destroy. Notice what he does. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life. I am the good shepherd. Oh man, how many of us need a shepherd? Oh Lord, I need a shepherd. A shepherd that's willing to lay down his life for the sheep. So what is Jesus doing? In these three quick places, he's placing himself, this is really important, he's putting himself in the center of the story. He's saying, look, there's a story. We're all in a story. This story is about God and people and what he wanted for us and what we were made for. And guys, he says, look, we were made, we were created, you and I, we were created, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. Okay, and I don't know everybody's beliefs in here, but this is the truth. Every one of us were made to delight in the presence of God. That's why you were made. And to go on an adventure with God. See, a lot of us get the adventure part. Right? And we do this adventure in a lot of ways. But when we try to do an adventure without God, we ultimately bend that adventure towards something that becomes idolatrous. The chase, the drive, every one of us, we have these dreams. I want to do this. We ask our kids the question, what do you want to do when you grow up, right? As if that's an answer, a question that they can answer, right? I don't know what I want to do, And well, here's about 5 options, pick one, right? We have all of this that we kind of put onto our kids. But guys, the whole point of creation wasn't for you to just figure out your own adventure. It's for you to be in this beautiful relationship with your Creator and with him go on that adventure. That's so critical, guys. That's so critical. And so this is, I think, the problem. We look at our lives and we get frustrated with them. We look at our bad habits and we look at the places we wish things were different and we say, man, I just wish I had more power. I wish I even had more of a drive, a want to, but I'm just get tired. It's just easier to kind of reach for whatever that is. I just don't want to think about it. But really what's happened is there's this aching in your soul for the fellowship of God and you need to numb it down. You need to numb that down with all kinds of substitutes. And so God is saying, listen, I'm the thing you actually are thirsty for, not fill in the blank. I'm the thing you actually want, not substitute an idol. You hearing me this morning, right? So here's the thing. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had a moment in your life where you feel like you got a taste of that? Maybe just for a moment, you got a taste of heaven, of the presence of God. Maybe it was just a time that you just felt like, I think I felt God. I don't know if I can explain this to you. I don't know how, but I think I did get a little taste of the bread of heaven. I think I understand what he means when he says, I am here to give you a rich and satisfying life. I want to draw your attention to that. Because I would say most of us in here at some point has experienced the tapping of God on our shoulders and the wooing of God back to himself. I think you're here today because of that.